Hello everybody, welcome to Chandler Avenue. My name is Jeff Taylor and this is the very first video on my new channel. I plan on releasing videos regularly, so if you like it, give me a subscribe. Anyways, let's get to the review, shall we? So The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit is a free episode that acts as a prologue or a demo to the upcoming Life is Strange 2, the follow-up to the excellent first game by the same name, and the not-so-excellent prequel Life is Strange Before the Storm. Right off the bat, it was very nice seeing that the sequel is being developed by Don't Nod, and the exact same team that created the first game, rather than Deck 9 who developed the lackluster prequel. So does Captain Spirit live up to the high expectations that Don't Nod set back in 2015? Yes, it does. If you've played any of the previous titles, then you know what to expect in terms of gameplay. It's a story-driven point-and-click adventure with a troubled youth by the name of Chris Erickson as the protagonist. And in this episode, he's living out a typical Saturday. But unlike Life is Strange, where if it's more of a coming-of-age story, and Before the Storm being more of a love story, Captain Spirit is about a boy coping with the loss of his mother and dealing with all of the aftermath that comes with it. He copes with it by escaping reality using his imagination to turn himself into a superhero by the name of, you guessed it, Captain Spirit. It's really heavy stuff and will hit you hard if you've ever dealt with a similar situation. You immediately feel empathetic towards him and his alcoholic father, who is obviously also affected by the tragedy. But instead of going off the rails like, say, that asshole Chloe, Chris takes more of a mature approach to the situation due to the fact that he's severely handicapped by the shortcomings of his father.
I was hoping Santa might maybe get me a new console since mine is broken.
Then Santa needs to get me a new job. It has to be a console. A basketball costs $10.
And he knows this. Don't get me wrong, Chris is still very much affected by the death of his mother, constantly mentioning how mom used to do things and sobbing at certain memories, but it just seems like he's acting more of an adult just because he lacks the depression and alcoholism that his father is battling. And his father isn't a bad person, really. Having personally dealt with it, I can assure you that depression and alcoholism are some of the biggest motherfuckers you could ever deal with. So obviously, while not being the best approach to the situation while your wife dies, it's understandable and you have to show empathy. You can blatantly tell that he loves his son. It's just that the drink got the best of him. And boy, melancholy is everywhere in this game. From the music to the narration and dialogue to a lot of the items that you examine in the game to even the somber pastel color palette. Sadness is everywhere, and that's okay because it needs to be in order to extract a genuine empathetic emotion from the player. There's nothing wrong with taking this approach. In fact, it's very refreshing to see a story that's very real and emotional. There are very few games that can tug on those tear-jerking strings and leave a lump in your throat, and I think that it's a very big feat when a video game is able to do so. So I have to commend the writers at Don't Nod for that.
Mom was so pretty. I miss Mom's smile. It's not safe out there. Yeah, Dad, I know.
Where the game really shines the most is its very familiar and almost creepy realization of a 9-year-old boy. I mean, who wrote this stuff? They absolutely nailed the characteristics of an innocent and naive youth to a T. And first-time actor Chandler Mantione certainly deserves a round of applause for his performance as Chris. From his dynamic voice range to the vocal sound effects and voices he does when he's imitating the toys that he's playing with, they absolutely picked the right kid for the role, and I can't wait to see what he could do in future episodes.
That was your last ride, Shark Stinger. Yes, Captain Spirit saved us. This is Captain Spirit. Do you copy? Are you there, Sky Pirate? Captain Spirit, I read you loud and clear.
Let's talk about the character animations for a sec. Captain Spirit uses the Unreal Engine 4 as opposed to the Unreal Engine 3, which was used in the first game, and it shows. Life is Strange was kind of known for stiff and goofy animations. They're still present here, but it seems only for supporting characters, which there are two of, your father and your next door neighbor. You can tell that they put a lot more effort into Chris's animations because they are substantially better. The art style is a bit cartoonish, but it really works and looks great. The animations for your dad and neighbor aren't totally distracting, but periodically awkward enough to warrant a little chuckle.
Who's there? Who's that?
Dad.
Whoa, hold on, buddy, okay? Jesus. Fuck! Fuck! Shit. Fuck!
Not as awkward as Chloe dancing though.
Shake that bony white ass.
Another thing that vaguely took me out of the immersion was this really cheesy finger-picked acoustic guitar song that they played a few times just kind of out of nowhere. It was a bit cringeworthy. Not because it is a bad song, but because it just felt out of place while I'm exploring around, then all of a sudden I hear
Amethyst and flowers on the table. Is it real or a fable?
Then you walk across the yard to trigger
I forgive you, mother. I can hear you, and I long to be near.
I also have to mention the creative map and objective screens, which are drawn by Chris, are a nice little touch. The objective screen is titled My Awesome Things to Do, with little pictures of the objectives that you can highlight, which gives you a brief explanation on what you have to do. And while the map of the area you're giving is pretty small, the area what you are confined to for the episode is actually smaller and limits you just to the edge of your yard. But the map also shows the surrounding areas, which I'm assuming is going to be accessible in the final game, and I can't wait to see what these areas have in store when I finally get to play them. So in conclusion, this game took me about 2 hours to complete all of the 8 optional objectives. This was playing it pretty slow, examining everything, including a bunch of Life is Strange 1 Easter eggs. And with a price tag of free, it is well worth your time. Hell, I would even pay for this. Considering my love for the first game, I really want Life is Strange 2 to be a great game. Captain Spirit sets the bar high. So if the preceding episodes stay on the same level, I feel that we will have something as special as the first game and it will not disappoint. So that's my review. Thank you for watching the video. I really hope it was helpful or entertaining. If it was, maybe give me a subscribe. Have a good day, guys. Peace out.
Forgive you, mother. I can hear you.
Fuck!